Good day, Calgary. My name is Travis Meguinis, and I'm home right here. This is our traditional territory of the Tsuut'ina Nation. We share it with the Blackfoot Confederacy, and I'm very honored and I'm very proud to be here today, speaking in front of all of you red-colored people out there. We as First Nations, we have things in common with the Liberals. We sometimes call our people Red Nations. So it's proud, to share that color of red, with the Prime Minister of Canada here, Prime Minister Carney. Just to start with, I'd like to say I was asked by George Chahal and the Prime Minister's team to do a land acknowledgement. The Truth and Reconciliation has been in place for over a decade now, and I like to say that I was one of the chiefs that helped out with the transfer of a headdress to your guys' last Prime Minister, Trudeau. A quick reminder, with Truth and Reconciliation, we always want to leave everybody with a little bit of education. When the settlers came to our people, they brought the Indian Act. So the Indian Act is what is used today to do democratic elections to form government on our nations. Before the Indian Act, we had hereditary leadership, which was called natural law. We had hereditary chiefs, and that came from bloodline, and that came from ceremonies. And I want to acknowledge two chiefs that are here today. Chief of Treaty 8, one of the past economic grand chiefs, Chief Isaac Labican, Woodland Cree. As well as, a great chief that's from the south of here, and one of our brothers and sister tribes to the Tsuut'ina. This man is a great chief. He's from the Blackfoot Confederation, and his name is Leonard Weasel Traveler. I want to acknowledge him too. We come here today to share a blessing. These feather hats that you do see, one more thing about education is that long ago, our forefathers and mothers, from time immemorial, this has been my bloodline in our treaty territory since time immemorial. We've been wearing these feather hats. The eagle, which we know flies close to Creator, and the weasels, which can never be cornered in battle, is why we wear these great feather hats that are only able to be crowned by the people that have rights in our culture, in our way, as the First Nation, the Red Nation people of this land. In closing, I'd just like to say it was an honor to share a little bit of education to all of you. I want all of you to know it's our honor to share and to work together with the great Calgarians. As a past leader in Tsuut'ina, I worked on a Calgary ring road that brought better transportation to all you Calgarians. I was a young leader. I was in my 20s. My late dad was a lifetime leader as well, and I took over. But now I run a company called Natural Law Trans Mountain Corporation, which was born from Natural Law Energy. We work on major projects. And this land that we do have, it's in our best interest as First Nation, as Red Nation, to work with all of you that are here, as well as your great leaders, to create better wealth, better standard of living. We, as Indigenous people, we ain't anti-oil and gas, we're anti-poverty. But with that development comes a lot of respect to the land. Our people, since the creation stories, we all knew that the sun, we all came from the sun, which is why we have Sundance. And to the moon, at the constellation. And just by that's what they know him as, God, Creator. And today, I pray that all of you are blessed with good health and going into this new election, that our peoples, World War II, we have that connection. We can do that again by developing our resources and our lands. And the best of luck and love to all of you, but also the great Prime Minister, Carney. But with that, I just want to say to all of you, beautiful people here today, all you beautiful human beings, it's an honor to speak and share the mic with great leaders. All of you, I pray that next time we see each other, that we're in the best of health and the best of times. Aho, ahai.
Good evening, everybody. I am Corey Hogan. I'm your Liberal candidate in Calgary Confederation. Welcome to Calgary Confederation. You're in it right now. We are so pleased to host you. On the National last night, pollster Janet Brown said Calgary Confederation was a bellwether riding, the tipping point to a Liberal majority. Yes. So I am so glad you are all out. It's so important. The polls say if we show up, we'll win. Now, Mark Carney is showing up. Right? So now it's our turn to show up. I hope you all enjoy yourselves tonight. I hope it's a great speech. I also hope you turn this excitement into volunteering, donating, and into action, because Confederation is worth fighting for. This country is worth fighting for. Now it is my pleasure to welcome my fellow candidate and future colleague, Lindsay Luhnau, to take the stage. Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lindsay Luhnau, and I'm running to be your Member of Parliament in Calgary Centre. Oh, I cannot express how grateful I am to see so many wonderful faces in the crowd. So many volunteers that have just really stepped up during this election, knocking on doors, making phone calls for us, cooking for other volunteers. And your great work is paying off. We are getting incredible feedback at the doors and on the phones. Progressives across Calgary are uniting. They know that Mark Carney is the only option for us to stand up for Canada. It is my immense pleasure this evening to introduce Diana Fox Carney, renowned economist, policy expert, yes. And politics is not easy. Bringing your family into this is not easy. So let's thank her for sharing her husband, Mark, with us. Now please join me and give a warm Calgary welcome for Diana.
This is amazing. Thank you. Good evening. I'm so excited to be back in this beautiful province. Bonsoir tout le monde. So I'm here tonight to tell you a little bit more about someone that I know well and that you are just beginning to get to know. And I'm going to begin with a story about our first date. Back when we were young grad students, I met a boy from Edmonton, Alberta. And we went to dinner. It was a very nice dinner. Unusually nice for a grad student. And we were getting along famously. Everything was going great. And Mark turned to me and he said, "There's something I need to tell you." Okay. And he said, "I want you to know that I'm committed to move back to Canada and to work in the public service." So it definitely runs deep. And I realized two things about Mark at that moment. I realized he was a man of uncommon conviction. He was a man of integrity and of values and of deep belief in service to his country, to this country. And the second thing I realized was that the romantic side perhaps was going to take a little bit of work there. But he upped his game, and that summer we drove the Icefields Parkway together, and the rest is history. And it has not surprised me in the slightest that Mark has fulfilled his commitment to himself and to Canada and has risen to the enormous challenge that we now face. In fact, rising to And now he's definitely rising to the challenge of Trump's tariffs and of reimagining the future of our great country. So, as his partner, I'm deeply proud of him. As a Canadian, I'm so grateful that the man I met more than 30 years ago has held fast to that commitment to public service and to this country. I'm so lucky to have him. We're so lucky to have him. And without further ado,
Wow, I am in. I thought I was in Calgary. This is amazing. The shadow. Thank you. God, what a treat. The shadow of McMahon Stadium. Sight of many disappointed Edmonton fans every Labor Day. I admit it. That's a tough.
Mr. Carney, there's a genocide happening in Calgary.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana. I'm aware, which is why we have an arms embargo. I want to thank all of the amazing Calgary, Southern Alberta candidates who are here working hard every day to fight for Canadians. And I want to thank Chief Meguinis and Travis for that blessing and those lessons. And all of the chiefs and the community members from Treaties 7 and 8 who are here with us this evening. Thank you for your presence. It is so awesome to be back in Alberta, where I grew up. 3 months ago, almost to the day, I started my campaign for leadership here in Alberta because I owe everything to this province and this country. And I wanted to pay tribute to my teachers, my coaches, my friends, some of whom are here this evening, my friends who are here this evening, who helped me become the person who stands before you right now. A Canadian with Alberta roots, shaped by both. Proud of both. And someone who will fight for both. And we need to fight. We need to fight. So I have a question. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada? And who's ready to help the Liberal Party win the most consequential election in our lifetime? You know, elbows up, elbows up. Thank you, Mike. Last week, the U.S. imposed massive tariffs on the world. Although, not this time, Canada. We got the best of a series of bad deals. But 3 other sets of U.S. tariffs remain in place, threatening our workers, our businesses, our livelihoods. And they were imposed under for different excuses, different pretenses, but they're all unjustified, they're all unwarranted, they are all misguided. President Trump's trade war has literally ruptured the global economy. And their system of global trade that was anchored on the United States, that we in Canada have relied upon since the end of the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, but a system that's had helped deliver prosperity to our country for decades, I'm afraid is over. And our old relationship, one of steadily deepening integration with the United States, is over. This is a tragedy. This is a tragedy, but it is the new reality. And we are responding to that new reality. We are responding with purpose and force. We will fight, we will protect, and we will build. We will build. We are fighting. We are fighting. We're not. We're not. Okay. Listen. I am reviewing that contract. I am reviewing that contract. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. There's a lot to follow. You know what? We are reviewing the F-35 contract because we are tired of sending 80 cents of every dollar that we spend to defend this country to someone who is vulnerable. But we have a different kind of fight. We are fighting these tariffs with counter tariffs of our own, the American tariffs. Tariffs that will cause maximum pain in the United States, but have minimum impact here in Canada. And we are protecting our workers and our businesses. We are using every single dollar from our retaliatory tariffs to protect those workers. But above all, what we're doing is building Canada strong. And that is going to require big changes. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It will require big changes, but we're ready. I'm ready. I am not you can tell by my delivery. I am not Big Daddy, but I'll take it. I am your Big Daddy. But I'm not a career politician. Hey? There we go. Exactly. But what I am is a pragmatist. And so when I see something that's not working, I change it. And that's exactly what we did in my first week as Prime Minister. Homes have become too expensive, so we cut taxes on them. The capital gains tax hike would have stifled our builders and our innovators, so we got rid of it. The consumer carbon tax, looked good on paper, it was too divisive, so we eliminated it on day one. And you will have noticed the price at the gas pump dropping 18-20 cents a liter. Yeah. Nous avons élargi l'accès au régime canadien de soins dentaires pour que 5 millions de Canadiens de plus puissent en bénéficier. 5 million more Canadians benefiting from dental care. Nous avons renforcé nos relations avec l'Union européenne pour que notre économie soit moins dépendante des États-Unis. Less dependent on you. Et par rapport aux avions, nous avons conclu une entente militaire avec l'Australie et renforcer notre collaboration militaire avec la France et le Royaume-Uni, pas les États-Unis. Et nous accélérons le développement de projets d'infrastructures majeurs et faisons du Canada une superpuissance des énergies vertes et traditionnelles. Et afin de le faire, nous mettons fin au dédoublement des réglementations. We have done all these things, and I'm going to come back to being an energy superpower in a moment. We have done all of these things because we know that in this situation we need to do things we previously thought were impossible at speeds we haven't seen in generations. And we can. So we have a new approach, one project, one review. We know we need one Canadian economy, not 13. So in our first week in Ottawa, we agreed with all the premiers to eliminate barriers to trade and labor mobility within our country. And Premier Smith agreed. And I thought at the time, when's the last time the premiers agreed about anything? Aside from they hate the federal government. And I said, still do that, but they agreed on this. The federal government, we will do our part to honor that agreement, legislating by July 1st, free trade in Canada by Canada Day. So in just 9 days in government, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades. And that's if he had an imagination and didn't just mimic Donald. The Donald. Okay. Then we began our campaign. On day one, we announced a middle-class tax cut, delivering savings of up to $825 per year for your family. Then we released a plan to build a stronger Canadian Armed Forces to keep our nation safe and our sovereignty unchallenged. In Windsor, in the face of Trump's tariffs, we unveiled a strategy for a more resilient made-in-Canada auto sector and took vital steps to protect our workers. We set out the next day a vital plan to invest in new trade infrastructure, including our ports, to diversify trade away from the United States. This past weekend, we unveiled a series of measures to build a workforce by covering the cost of apprenticeships. And the point here is because it's time to build, because of the scale of our collective ambitions, we're not just creating hundreds of thousands of jobs in the trade. We are creating hundreds of thousands of careers in the trades. We announced an ambitious strategy to double the pace of new home construction to 500,000 a year, and in the process to create an entirely new made-in-Canada industry based on modular and mass timber homes. And it's not far from here. It's not far from here where ATCO is showing us the way forward. Yeah. Yesterday, I announced a series of measures to protect the incomes of seniors during this crisis, as well as a bold new strategy to protect our natural heritage, our land, our water, our biodiversity. So we have done a lot in 3.5 weeks. And I want you to just think of what we could do together if the Liberal Party gets a strong, positive mandate from Canadians. And we need that. Thank you. And we need that. We need that mandate because Canada is facing the most significant crisis of our lifetime. Make no mistake, President Trump wants to break us so America can own us. Never. Never. I think we're getting over the shock of the betrayal. But we should never forget the lessons. We have to look out for ourselves. And we have to take care of each other. We did not ask for this fight. But as the Americans are going to learn, Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. In a trade war, just like in hockey, we will win. They're going to learn. We are going to get stronger, they are going to get weaker. Now, hockey, like many of you, hockey has played a big part in my life. I grew up with the values I learned on the ice in Alberta, at the kitchen table in Alberta, and in the classroom in Alberta. My parents were teachers. And they stressed the importance of working hard, of supporting our community, and caring for others. This is Calgary. This is what Calgary means, right? My coaches taught me to be ambitious, but also to be humble. And I kept those values close when I was managing crises in Canada and around the world. I remembered those values whenever I was helping people to build strong economies. And now I'm drawing on those values, those Canadian values, to stand up to Donald Trump and build the strongest economy in the G7, an economy that works for everyone. Yeah. Now, I'm afraid Pierre Poilievre doesn't get any of this because, and I've seen this movie before around the world, Pierre Poilievre is that type of lifelong politician who worships at the altar of the free market, despite never having actually worked in the private sector, never having to make a payroll. He's a paper boy. No, he's a paper boy here. His reflex is always to cut and destroy. And so while President Trump's plan is to divide and conquer, Pierre Poilievre's plan is to divide and be conquered. We don't have, this is not the time for divisive, angry politics. No. Negativity is not going to win a trade war. Negativity will not pay the rent or the mortgage. Negativity won't bring down the price of groceries. Negativity will not make Canada strong. We are going to win this battle. We are going to win this battle if we are strong and united. United. Nous pouvons... Oh, I got so excited. I was so excited. Oh, I'm going to keep going. It's all good. You have patience. That's good. Nous pouvons nous disputer au sujet de la politique. Nous pouvons nous disputer à propos de hockey. On peut être même une fan des Oilers ici à Calgary. Ah, OK. C'est un pays libre. Encore, j'espère. Mais quand il s'agit du Canada, nous sommes tous du même côté. Choisissons d'être forts. Canada fort. Now, what do the Americans want? The Americans want our strength. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. And this will never happen. Never happen. Because Canada is not America. America is a melting pot. Canada is a mosaic. look at this room, the diversity in this room, we're all Canadians, we're all distinct. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. Aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. On ne reconnaît pas les peuples autochtones. Et il n'y aura jamais de droit pour la langue française. Les États-Unis ne sont pas le Canada et le Canada n'en fera jamais partie des États-Unis. Jamais. Jamais. So, having settled that, we're not America, what do we do? Fight, yes. But how and against what? The important thing, from my experience in a crisis, the important thing is to distinguish between what you can change and what you can't. Yeah, the wisdom to know both. Yes, that's true. Wisdom to know the difference, that's right. It's in a book somewhere. I don't think we can change Donald Trump. I don't think so. Not at this stage. And a person who draws his inspiration from President Trump, like Pierre Poilievre, will kneel down before him, before he stands up to him. He's in sync with President Trump, I've heard, in this province. Pierre Poilievre is also choosing to be willfully blind to the many and growing threats that face our country. He refuses, for some reason, he refuses to get his security clearance. It's 941 days and counting. It took me 21 days. Wasn't that hard. Wasn't that hard. Il est la mauvaise personne au pire moment. Now, nous devons comprendre ce que nous pouvons et devons changer. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. Nous pouvons contrôler notre destin économique. We can control our economic destiny with the right plan. A plan that puts more money in your pockets. A plan where the government spends less so Canada can invest more. A plan that makes big polluters pay instead of hard-working Canadians. A plan that creates one Canadian economy out of 13. A plan that builds an energy superpower in both clean and conventional energy. And my government will work with Indigenous peoples, with the provinces, and with the private sector to fast-track projects that build our energy security by displacing foreign suppliers such as the United States. Projects that diversify our export markets so we rely less on the United States. And projects that enhance our long-term competitiveness, including with low-carbon oil and gas. I know that Alberta will be at the heart of all of these solutions. After all, when I was born, it was a long time ago, I tell you. When I was born just north of Fort Mac, the oil sands were called the tar sands, and the idea, it was just a dream. But the combination of the ingenuity of Alberta-based scientists, the drive of Alberta entrepreneurs, the support of the provincial and federal governments, created a powerful industry that has enriched all of Canada. And that same partnership, researchers, private sector, federal, provincial government, Alberta ingenuity and drive, that same partnership can usher in a new clean energy era. The world needs that leadership. The world needs Canadian leadership. And we are ready. We are ready. We are ready. We are ready. Thank you. We are ready. You know, in the wake of what the U.S. is doing to trade, we are ready to build a coalition of like-minded countries who share our values, who believe in international cooperation, who believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas. If the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will. We will. Now, before I finish, I want to tell you why we Liberals, and I know not everyone in the room's a Liberal, but I understand, and I should stop and thank you all for waiting so long, coming in. I also want to thank those who are watching on a screen outside for coming. I want you to know why we're so passionate, why I'm doing what I'm doing, which is to build a strong economy. Why are we so passionate about that? Well, in the end, it's because we care about people. We know that we're all in this together. C'est pourquoi notre gouvernement a créé des places en garderie à $10 par jour pour les familles. Et nous avons créé le régime canadien de soins dentaires, l'assurance médicale. It's the reason why we created these programs, $10 a day daycare, pharmacare, dental care. It's why we're backing our workers through this fight. We're all in this together. Now, I just want to finish by observing something I think most of us feel, acknowledged or not. These are unsettling times. They are unsettling times. There is a big weight on all of us. And an illustration of this, a couple of weeks ago, I met a teacher in Ontario, and she had asked her 9 and 10-year-old students to describe their dreams for Canada. And some of those children, they gave me all the results. Some of the children wrote of a country free of poverty. Others dreamt of clean air and water, or a place where everyone enjoyed equal rights, dignity, and respect. These are Canadian values. These children were being taught by the same teachers and raised by the same types of parents that I see in this room and that I had the privilege to have when I was young. But some of these kids also wrote about tariffs. Tariffs. 9 and 10 years old. Tariffs and threats to our sovereignty, words that I hadn't met at that age. And one student wrote, this is an example, there were many more, and I quote, "I dream of a safe, a kind, and a clean Canada." And then they added, a Canada that is not the United States. Our children should be able to dream about a positive future, not worry about an economic crisis. We can give our children the future they deserve. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. We can give ourselves far more than the Americans can ever take away, and we will. And that's why I'm standing before you tonight. Canada has given me everything. My family, my education, my values. And in return, I'm ready to give everything to Canada. So let's send those people, great group of Alberta Liberals to Ottawa to join me and build Canada strong. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.